right. And there are sugar cane as well. So they have a refreshment when they come.
Pleasure.
Episode ka. Voy a ver qué están preparando mis dos amigas. Las voy a ver.
Vayan a tomar Then are included some of them now. Yeah. Okay. Follow me, please. The animals value es de largos, los usan para eso, ¿no? Para extraer materiales. At the cool parts of the bus, but because they race. Farmland.
How come you live in...
The other sites are just for exploring. Explore.
Capture a bit so we can see the ritual. It's really going off.
Monuments such as this, Jesus Christ, the Virgin, just across. So.
Our new neighborhood.
You find the balance, the justice balance. Asian style.
Yeah.
The owner is from Bolivia. Really popular as well. Of that, we have talks about duality.
Yeah.
So mentioning these words related to the Andean cross, in some of them you will find.
This is for weddings or something. Yeah.
It's a small crescent. So Chihiro, you say that.
Another 300, and I was like, yeah, that's too much. Yeah. So I took this bus, which was then going to do Lima, Huacachina, and then go to Cartagena for a couple nights, and I had people.
Para esta lucha, triple amenaza de Collision Wrestling. Percy Gallata, vamos a ver qué pasa en esta lucha. Triple amenaza. No pasa nada. Percy dominando. Epa, epa. Vamos, Percy. A entrenar, dice. A entrenar. No. Vemos acción. Comenzamos el bueno de parte de Juventud Latina. Se van las cuerdas. Este luchador viene a poder. Nuevamente, iniciamos la acción. Rápidamente vemos cómo María cerra las cuerdas. Daniela la busca muy de cerca. Solino observando. Daniela se prepara. María se va también a buscar el impulso. ¿Qué va a hacer María? ¿Qué va a hacer María? ¡Eso! ¡No! Solino responde hasta abajo. ¡Vamos! ¡Vamos, Sol! ¡Oh! Sol y Luna viene a seguir. pasadito de cuerda a cuerda. Son.